Hello, everyone. Dr. Frankie here. Thanks so much for tuning in. As you know, every Thursday, I'll have a new vlog here for you, hopefully answering the questions that you're asking. And if there's anything I don't cover, I want to encourage you to post below down in the comment section. I read all of your comments. I try to do my best to respond, ask questions. If there's a topic you want me to cover, definitely let me know. And if you're not familiar with me, I'm Dr. Frankie Bashan. I'm the CEO of Little Gay Book Matchmaking and Little Black Book Matchmaking. I'm a clinical psychologist, a board certified sex therapist, and a dating and relationship expert. And I'm thrilled every week to share with you all the knowledge that I've gained over 2 decades. And I would love it if you could subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And please comment and share and like and do all that good stuff to help spread the word. So my experience and my knowledge and all the skills that I offer everyone, so that people can find me. Believe it or not, I've been around for a while, but still there are people that have no idea that I'm here every week putting out really helpful, valuable tips and information. So I would love it if you could help me spread the word. And today we're going to be talking about a really important topic, which is setting yourself up for success on a first date. First dates are tough, right? So I want to give you all the skills that I can think of to help you be successful. So depending on your outlook, first dates are either fun and fascinating or the bane of your existence. Meeting a new person who you may know nothing about beyond a few messages exchanged on an app is full of limitless potential, both for good and for bad. It's an opportunity to show up intentionally as your best self, and also a project that may feel like it takes a lot of energy and effort. No matter how you feel about them, though, first dates are necessary. Without a first, you don't get to have a second, a third, and hopefully eventually a lifetime together. Whether first dates are your favorite thing or more, especially if you dread them, here are my best strategies for setting yourself up for success on a first date. Know what outcomes you're looking for. You may have been told by a boss or a productivity influencer that when you set goals, you should make sure they're SMART. That's capital SMART, meaning specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. This means that doing a good job at work isn't a very smart goal because it's not specific or measurable and may not be achievable depending on your circumstances. A better goal would be something like make 50 new sales before the end of the year. It's something you can actually accurately assess whether you're achieving or not. To this philosophy of goal setting, however, I would add one criterion. Your goals in any circumstances should ideally be about what you can control, not your outcomes. This may seem antithetical to the point of goals, but in my example, whether or not you make 50 new sales may or may not have anything to do with you. For instance, if we're in the midst of a global recession, you could be the best salesperson on earth and it wouldn't matter, right? For that reason, it's better to focus on your goals, on your own actions that are within your sphere of influence. A good example would be shifting the above goal to making 500 cold calls to new clients this quarter. This is entirely within your control and also something that has a major influence on the outcome you want. Someone who makes 500 calls will likely end up making 50 sales if that's at all possible to achieve. How does this translate to dating, you ask? The outcome most of us actually want is a successful long-term relationship that begins with an unimaginably great first date with instant chemistry and love at first sight. Of course, almost all of that is out of our control, most notably everything about the other person, but also our own feelings and theirs. So aiming for that isn't setting ourselves up for success. We're likely to end up exhausted and disillusioned after a dozen mediocre and want to quit entirely. Mediocre dates and want to quit entirely, right? So instead, I want you to try thinking of goals and outcomes that do fall within a realistic sphere of influence. Something like, I want to leave this first date with a solid sense of whether I'm interested in seeing this person again. Take charge of what you can control. Along the same vein, the reality is that the vast majority of factors in whether or not a date goes well is out of our control. We don't know whether our date is fun, likable, has the qualities we're looking for in a partner, or is even the same person they say they are on a dating app. Putting all of our eggs in one basket of our date's qualities as a person means our experience could oscillate wildly between amazing and utterly awful. So let's look at what you do have some agency over when it comes to your date. Of course, we can't guarantee to have a good time, no matter your effort or your mindset. There's no toxic positivity here. And if you have a bad time, that doesn't mean it's your fault. However, think about your emotional and psychological state around dating and what you can do to give yourself as much of a leg up as possible. Can you choose to have the date at one of your favorite places so that you'll enjoy that aspect of it, even if the company isn't amazing? Are there any rituals or practices that bring you personal pleasure, like getting all dressed up and putting on a favorite perfume, maybe taking some selfies that you know you'll get something out of no matter what happens after the date? I always recommend cleaning up your place and maybe lighting some incense or turning down the bed like you're in a hotel before you leave for the evening. If the date goes really well and someone comes home with you, that's great. But in the more likely event that you come home alone, you have a beautiful, cozy space to greet you. Nothing can be more crushing of your spirits than after a bad date, you get home to find a pile of laundry sitting there that you have to deal with before you can call it a night. Make your set of personal rules. What about on the date itself? If you're finding that you still dread getting out there, even with these strategies in place, there's more room to take agency in your dating experience. Make a list. What are the parts of bad first dates or dating in general that have bothered you in the past? You can decide what rules and practices you want to put in place for yourself to change that, or at least limit it. Are you a sober person who hates watching dates get drunk over dinner? Make a rule that you only do coffee for first dates. Do you dread exiting a date, never knowing when it's been long enough that you can go home and end up trapped at a bar with a stranger for 3 hours? Make yourself a rule that first dates are exactly 1 drink long. If you want, you can even communicate this to your date. Do you have a terrible time dragging yourself back out into the world after a long day at work? Make a rule that first dates are only on the weekends. You might be more amenable to going out on a Wednesday for a second date with someone you already know you like. Hate wasting your weekends when you could be with your friends rather than strangers? Make the opposite rule. If you're worried this makes you seem overly rigid or fussy, don't. First of all, it's actually helpful to display your worst qualities early on with somebody new. But more than that, creating an artificial rule actually makes it easier for us to set boundaries with someone and often for them to accept them. It's often easier for us to justify to ourselves and to others our own preferences and boundaries if we do it in the service of something outside of ourselves. It's not you, it's just the rule. I hope you all found this helpful. Please post, comment, share. I want to hear your thoughts, and I will see you all next week. Thanks so much. Have a great week.